All right. Welcome to the latest episode of the Grappling Monthly Podcast. You guys, I'm very excited to be here in beautiful Laguna Hills with Professor Laercio from Alliance.
Thank you. Thanks so much for coming. Yes, my pleasure.
It's beautiful Monday or Tuesday morning. Yeah, we just had a training session. Lesson for me to make sure there's always a gi in the car.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to get to know you a little bit. Got to know your students just now. And you guys, as usual, if you like the podcast or you have, any comments, suggestions, please like, subscribe, leave a comment, and anything helps to keep us going, telling jiu-jitsu stories. Without any further ado, let's get started.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure to come here, share a little bit about myself, and most important about jiu-jitsu. Because jiu-jitsu changed life, changed mine, and I'm sure gonna change way more lives than people watch us.
Yeah, absolutely. So maybe I like to start usually at the beginning of how you came across jiu-jitsu, that first experience with jiu-jitsu, and what, if anything, was the reason that you decided to go back for, like I said?
Yeah, now you guys gonna find out how old I am. A long time. So I started jiu-jitsu 1993.
Okay.
In São Paulo, Brazil, where I grew up there. When I started, I have no idea what jiu-jitsu was. That time, nobody knew what jiu-jitsu was. I remember my mom used to say jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
My mom didn't even, until today, probably she doesn't know how to say jiu-jitsu correct. But that time, by luck, by my house, we live a pretty modest place and have a community sports center there.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a teacher, his name is from Rio de Janeiro, Arlanz Maia Medeiros. He was teaching jiu-jitsu there, and I wasn't always in jiu-jitsu, play soccer in the streets, fight all the time. I used to fight, got punched in the face, punch people in the face. And then my mom said, hey, have your neighbor doing this sport, why don't go there?
Mm-hmm.
And I went there, asked what it is. They say, it's jiu-jitsu. I said, okay, I want to do it. By luck, my brother, that time, he said, hey, I saw Vale Tudo, that time, jiu-jitsu. I gave kung fu, and jiu-jitsu guy broke the guy's leg and said, oh, I want to learn broke people's leg. People not going to punch me anymore. And then that's how I started. And I started doing it. And then that time, you just a kid. I was 11 years old. You just do it for a sport, especially in Brazil. You don't want to be involved in wrong things. The sport always help.
Yeah.
And since that, I never stopped. My daddy, like you were saying here, was a blue collar worker and manufacturer in Brazil. And he's for, hey, do whatever you want, but you need to go to school. And since then, I always trying. I wasn't a smart student, but I always figure out things. Okay. And I didn't have a good school when I go to fundamentals, middle school. I didn't have any good quality. When I get to go to college in Brazil, I don't know, people know there, it's little opposite than here.
Okay.
Good college in Brazil, most of the time you don't pay. But you need to make a test, and a really hard test to do it.
Yeah.
And normally, rich kids, because they have such a good foundation, they pass on the test. And kids from public school, they have to study extra for the test until they pass.
Yeah.
The good schools normally is 200,000-300,000 people for 20,000 spots.
Oh, wow.
So it's pretty competitive. I studied 3 years to pass the test, and I passed in one of the top school in Brazil called USP, University of São Paulo.
Okay.
And since that, I been an engineer, but I never stopped. Always competing and studying, work as well, because in Brazil you start work early. People are not going to understand, or maybe you will, I'm not sure. sometimes you see people give you papers in the street, you know. I used to do that too because make extra money. And then me and my friends always try to find a way to make money and be able to go competing in Rio de Janeiro. Most tournaments are Rio de Janeiro. I was from São Paulo. Just travel São Paulo to Rio was really difficult. But yeah, I did engineer there, and fast forward, I got my black belt pretty young, but I wasn't the talent kid. I just was somebody love jiu-jitsu. And then one time I have the opportunity to come here, and I finished school. I finished my master's degree. I competed Pan Am's one time. I had to sell so many things. I remember it was super hard for us that time. It was 2009. Come here, compete, and then with help a lot of people as well. I was a supermarket by my house, other coaches help you come here. I came here. I fought super well that time, and I lost the first match. Mm-hmm. And I was winning, I think, 3 or 4 advantage, and the guy swept me in the end. And then I was super mad, you know, went back to Brazil, started working. A friend of mine, I never was a person follow who's the most famous, nothing like that. It's, hey man, you did so amazing Pan Ams. I saw, say, I lost. Oh, I did amazing. I asked him, no, the guy who fought won the world championship last year. I said, hold on. If I'm not even trained as professional, I did pretty well. Maybe I can do that. Then I have opportunity to come here, and then came here around 2010. I stayed 6 months in Sacramento. 2 friends of mine was there, and they opened doors for me. And Andre, his name, and another become my other good friend of mine, Aaron and Chris. And these people helped me in the beginning. I stayed there 6 months, and I have another opportunity to come here in Orange County. And then I moved to Orange County, started teaching a gym called Tina Yama. They're a really good MMA gym. Okay. No, it's good for jiu-jitsu that time. Have a good training partners there, but not professional. And by my luck, he wanted to say, okay, I'm here in the United States. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not doing engineer. I still need to learn how to speak English. I don't know nothing English here. So I need to take this serious. And then by my luck, Cobrinha moved to LA. Okay. Yeah. And then I said, you know what? I hear about this guy is the best in the world. I'm going to give myself 5 years. I was 28 already when I moved here. And I met Cobrinha, and I went there every day. And Cobrinha have an amazing system, you know, like, and I just follow him, and I got the titles I want, you know, like in the next 3 or 4 days I compete. I won Pan Am's no gi, Worlds no gi. I did the final Worlds gi, Pan Am's gi, and luckily I got beat up. I win a European. I got beat up about a lot of top guys, but I beat them up too. So good, and that was a really cool journey to get where I am.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Do you have any idea this was going to be your journey when you first walked in?
So, yes, no. As a kid, you dream, oh, maybe I can have a gym. But at the same time, when you're working engineer, that time I was working inside the University of São Paulo. Okay. And I said, I don't know how my jiu-jitsu career will be, because that time I have a good teachers, but wasn't the top teachers. And maybe I was late bloomer as well. You know, taking a little bit long to really understand how to be professional in jiu-jitsu. And then I learned from Cobrinha, when you hang out with the guy already did and say, okay, you have a lot of things. I want to come here, but in Brazil, I have no idea I'll be here, living here, have family here, you know, have 4 kids here. I have no idea. So you think about it, but we're growing Brazil so far that time. Yeah. You know, that time, before coming here, I never went to airplane before. My parents never traveled. So it was difficult to have that image. Yeah. You know, when the environment you grow up in, the environment you can see it where your future gonna be. Yeah. And where I grew up, we don't think too much ahead. You know, that's a good about Americans. They taught me how to plan my life in 5-10 years. You know, sometimes, of course, life guide in different ways, but you kind of prepare. Americans are really well in preparation. And that's what I learned here. But back in the day, I have no idea. When I see opportunity to come here, I say the worst thing can happen. I'm learning English, go back to Brazil, teaching English. I don't know. I'm going to have good English there because I learned from here. So, but when you come here, right, I'm from Osasco, São Paulo.
Okay.
It's pretty rough city, but a lot of places in Brazil is not clean, you know. When you land in the airplane, you fall Irvine, when you don't see a paper on the floor, people don't throw trash, you start questioning yourself, hold on, why these people do that? Where I come from, it's so normal, unfortunately. And you start understanding why United States is first world, Brazil is not. Even Brazil have the potential, but your habits don't allow that. But I never imagined I'm going to have the amazing life I have, living in South Orange County, have the amazing life I have. I never imagined that.
Nice.
God bless me that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, also, you probably worked very, very, very hard.
Definitely. Yeah. You know, you can talk, you're going to interview a lot of people. People come here around 2009, 10, 11. If you're not the top guys, even the top guys, you know, I remember when I arrived here, nighttime, I got a job, 10 to 12, 10 p.m. to 12 p.m. That way don't compromise my training. And then 3 times a week, I used to clean an office. So nobody was in the office. I was responsible to clean there. And then that's how I started surviving and teaching here, teaching a bunch of gyms, you know. I never become an entrepreneur until I came here. And then later on, I have my other business now. I have a tech company. I have so many things I learned when you live in America, you know. And the difference here is, in Brazil, you cannot have nothing nice people going to steal from you. You know, how many times I have a motorcycle in Brazil, you see guys point the gun somebody else's motorcycle take away. It's hard to see that. Can happen, yes, can happen, but where we're living here, especially Orange County, is really hard to happen.
No, of course. It's I've had the pleasure of meeting many people from Brazil, and a lot of them echo this sentiment of, you know, Brazil has this amazing ability to, I find Brazilians enjoy life more than I think North Americans.
100%. I joke here. I remember when I was super poor. I enjoy more life than now. You know, like I live in Orange County. You know, I have a nice car, but in Brazil we enjoy it more. But you know, everything is in balance. Everywhere you go in the world, have a good and bad, and I always tell my friends, if you're rich, you stay in Brazil. Enjoy life there. But if you're not, come here because here is a lot of work too. What people got to is, in my personal opinion, Americans work really hard. You know, way harder than Brazilian when it comes time-wise. You know, Brazilian can work hard, but when the holidays coming, we go holiday, you know. And here now, they skip holiday because they have to work. So it's everything a balance of what you want for life.
That's true. Yeah, very wise. So when you moved and you eventually opened a school, was it this school or did you open?
So I teach in many places, and I remember it's funny and sad at the same time. When I won my World's No Gi. Was 2014. It's funny, true story about that. I went home and I remember my wife, hey, you have to help with the kids here, with my daughter just born, and you have to take the trash. I said, oh my God, I just worked championship, but my life didn't change. Then I realized, hold on, be only athlete is not enough. And the second thing is, the time I was teaching 3 gyms, different gyms, I was trying all over, and 2 gyms closed down. I said, oh, shoot, I won all these titles here, and the time didn't have money. What we make money is teaching our seminars. Now today you have DVDs. because social media, the new generation have more opportunities too. And then what my generation kind of suffer is adapt to how to be good at social media. My kid, the kids class here already talk to, they're super badass in front of camera. I'm not. In front of camera, I can be pretty shy. But yes, after winning my world championship, I realized, oh man, I have no job now. I have no job. I have family to take care. And before I have a gym here, a small gym, and a guy, hey, you want a partnership with me in this gym? I said, I didn't want to open a gym anymore. Honestly, I want to change my career for something else.
Yeah.
Because I have my engineer background.
Yeah.
And something, just try. Try one more time. And we opened together here 2005 to 2016, 2015, 2016. And then we worked together for a while. And then at a certain point, I say, I want to follow my own path. I bought him out. And then I came here. And then now I build this place.
Nice.
Yeah.
You talked about, owning businesses and stuff. I'm curious how you adapted to, because my understanding of owning a school is that it becomes so much more than just training, right? Like you're responsible for getting people in the door, marketing, administration, cleaning, everything, right?
Yeah, and I love person, because I have a lot of students with really successful people outside the mat, so they helped me a lot. I had to study. One time in my life, I decided to read 35 books in English. Even that time, my English wasn't good.
Okay.
I have a goal for the year. I say, man, if I want to do business here, I need to communicate a little bit better.
Yeah.
I need to understand the culture of America, because it's not because you live in here, you understand the culture.
Yeah.
How many times Brazilian probably told you, say, oh, I watched that movie, but was super boring.
Yeah.
Because we didn't, how many times I said that, and then after you understand the culture behind that movie, say, oh, that's pretty funny, or that's really critical, so you try to understand, right? So over time, with a few students I have really successfully business. I also have Cobrinha Fagurgel. Fagurgel do an amazing job. His dad was a high position director at a big company in Brazil. So he was smart enough to, hey, how I can see what my dad did to transform for Jiu-Jitsu. So I learned a lot just to see how he run his business. Cobrinha is a really smart guy, how he runs his business. So we started learning and never ends, right?
Yeah.
And 2017, even though I was working here, doing everything, I started finding different jobs. I remember I worked already 2 startups. Big fail.
Okay.
But that brings me a lot of knowledge. Yeah. One time I signed up for 3 days conference in Vegas about nails for beauty conference. And then 2 guys need somebody to sell their products. So you know what? Let me go there. I want to try. So you start being involved with these people and learn how to do it.
Yeah.
When you come here, and it doesn't matter how big your business. People think, oh, I need a big business. If you don't do right in a small business, you're never going to do right in big business. Because you're going to do the mistakes, right? How many mistakes I did here? Many. I did many mistakes. Oh, I should then. And now you put a system in place. That's what I learned Cobrinha. Because Cobrinha, his jiu-jitsu is really systematic.
Yeah.
Right? Hey, you had to do A, B, and C. You had to drill here. You understand why. Right? That's why I learned Cobrinha. I say, hold on. In business, same thing, my friend. Hey, you had to have a system in place.
Yeah.
And then we started building this system. And then, okay, now the system in place. Now you always adjust. It's like jiu-jitsu technique, right? Yeah. Today I teach you armbar one way. In 3 years, maybe one young guy, purple belt, do armbar a little different. Oh, I like that thing. Let's go change a little bit this grip. And business the same. Now you have to, when you open a gym, especially today, the demand is higher, but what people expect is high as well.
Yeah.
It's not a place you open, let's go beat up and live like I grew up. You know, like grow up is like a game member, right? You go to a gym, they're gonna beat up the first week to the death. If you're a man enough, you welcome to our team. That's how it was in Brazil back in the days, right? And today is not. Today, we understand the jiu-jitsu community start to understand that have a guy with 4 kids, I have 4 kids, need to work next day. Or have a guy, he super stressed on his job, he want to come here and make a friend.
Yeah.
I have students here have we call on spectrum. They need something else to be happy and to help their body and their mind connect.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I have students here with was super drug addict, and after 6 months jiu-jitsu is clean.
Nice.
So that will help us to show what jiu-jitsu is about. You know, and me as a business owner, I had to be smart enough to read that and make the best of for these people change their lives.
Yeah, that's there's a lot of parallels with jiu-jitsu, I think, that you just explained really, really well. You know, like if you're trying to pass somebody's guard one direction and it doesn't work, you adapt and
Correct.
So, but we were talking before after class. I like the transformative side of jiu-jitsu. You know, the side that pushes people to be better versions of themselves. I think it's interesting. Like, I'm curious. How did you find that balance? Was it trial and error? Was it like?
So I think balance don't really exist. Balance is relative. You know, like balance. People want to think balance is when it comes to do things and split yourself in 10. You know, balance. Today I'm doing 30% one thing and 70% other thing. That's a balance for me. When you're able to do 2 things, but you know, both in that time cannot be 100%. And sometimes one thing has to be 100%. You'll be 100% here and gonna let go the other. And if you balance how you manage the things, not how you do it.
Right.
It's 2 different things.
Interesting.
And it is difficult. It's like I tell people, you had to use different hats, right?
Yeah.
You had use different hats. I finished the class I teach my white belt is one thing. Finish the white belt class. If I go teach the advanced class, it's a different hat, different techniques. I talk to them different. They understand more. And then when I move away from the mat, now I'm talking to a mom here or a dad or a client here. Now it's different person. I'm a salesperson or even a person wanted to listen my client what I had to say good or bad, you know. And when I walk outside, I have my administration part. When I open the door, I'm a dad and a husband. So it's not a balance, I said, but it's how you manage it. All this to bring balance in your life. You know, how you be happy doing all this. If you cannot handle that, I recommend don't do it. You know, some people are super happy with make 20 grand a year and they have paycheck, but they're super happy. Nothing wrong with that. You know, there's their balance. They prefer that, you know, and some people are never happy with $30 million. There's nothing wrong with that. It's their lifestyle. So it's how you manage that to bring the balance inside yourself. That's how I see things. Of course, sometimes stress comes, but it's normal how you manage that, right? Somebody in our side control, you're going to freak out, expose your arm, or you're going to be calm and try and recover until you find a solution. It's the same thing, but and that takes time, you know, like one thing I learned, just because you're black belt here, don't mean you're black belt everything else, you know? You're black belt here, one step out, become a white belt again. And, you know, and even here, I go LA train Cobrinha, Kennedy, Jalen, you know, sometimes people from Brazil, they from Alliance São Paulo, Alliance Rio, even people from other teams. I have friends at every single team here. And they come here train with me. I learn from them. I learn from the purple belt. You know, it's never end. If you don't have the white belt mentality, Cobrinha always tell us, it's not gonna get the evolution you needed.
That's a lot of very good points. It's funny how the ego, you know, kind of, if you're not careful, can come back, even if, you know, you've done jiu-jitsu for a long time, they say leave the ego at the door, but there's always a little bit, you know.
Yeah, I'm not. First, you need to describe what ego means. You know, I think everything you can use for good and bad. You know, like on the history, even the bomb, right? TNT. The idea wasn't create a bomb, and by accident he create a bomb.
Yeah.
So it's the intention and what you do. The ego is bad when you start putting other values behind the ego. You know, you don't put our value as respect anymore. Then the ego can be a problem.
Yeah.
You know, because you start treat people bad because you think you're high rank, you're better than other people.
Yeah.
Now you broke your value, you don't have the value anymore. But when you have the ego too, the ego, you want to make you better, make you driven, that's a good ego for me. So that everything, how you really define ego for people.
Very cool, yeah. I noticed today, you know, just in the class, I think on the schedule is the fundamentals class that you had, white belts all the way up to, I think, third degree black belts. And I noticed that you were teaching the white belts, and then you would come and give the rest of the class other instructions. How do you, speaking on balance, you know, how do you find something for everyone when there's a class that has maybe like a 66-year-old, right, white belt, and then a competitive purple, and then
that class we separate them, right? So you put the white belt one side and the higher belts the other side. So their curriculum is totally separate.
Okay.
So that's the reason they already know the system. The class is 1 hour. You see, after 10 o'clock they already left.
Yeah.
And we have everything right down before the week start.
Okay.
So before the week start, you already know, every single teacher already know what they have to teach, how they warm ups, and normally I have a meeting with my teachers every week. Every week we have a meeting. One or other week, if something happened, we don't have, but we try and avoid that.
Yeah.
We have meeting with the teachers and the front desk as well to make sure we align, and then also they understand when they're standing, they know what to do.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to teach today. No, we have a plan.
Nice.
And over time, we always adapt. When we see something tournament or team, we don't have pros here. I have honest 4 people like to compete in pro, but most of my clients is masters.
Yeah.
They like to go masters, so they like to compete hard, but they're not pros.
Yeah.
So what I like to do, I always watch. That's the reason I train a Cobrinha too with Kennedy, all these guys, to keep me updated. And then if I see my team lack something, then I plan the week forward lack off.
Cool.
But we have a curriculum, so the moment the teacher step in, including me, we know what to teach you. We can, that time when I start jiu-jitsu, right? Monday was a bar, Tuesday was takedown, Wednesday was pass, and Friday was MMA. Even that time it don't exist anymore. If you're doing that, I don't recommend. It's your gym, you do whatever you want. But for all other successful gyms I know, we have a curriculum in place. You always adapt that curriculum. Some people really stick the same curriculum too. Even though they have a law students, I think the quality can be compromised on that.
Yeah. Is that something that you learned with Alliance, or was that?
I learned a lot with Cobrinha
Yeah.
and Alliance. Yes, the Alliance is really good. And of course, with my other experience, other business, I try and adapt.
Right.
You know, and Cobrinha, I think he's really good on that. Like, pivot something.
Yeah.
If you see the way he won the first World Championship, and the last, when he did Super Grand Slam, his jiu-jitsu changed.
Yeah.
You know, the reason why he's adapted a lot, he introduced more wrestling in his game.
Yeah.
I remember the Cobrinha guard, when he grabbed the collar, grabbed the pants.
Yeah.
I wasn't the first one getting knocked down there because he's trying to me and the other teachers over there, other black belts there. I remember his practice down me and say, nobody did that before.
Yeah.
And then now a lot of people does. So he knew how to adapt, especially when he competed against the other young, tough competition successful. You had to adapt. So you learn from other people who is smart, and you try and adapt from that.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember he's one of only two people, I think. Him and Mika Galvão are the only two.
Correct. It's funny. Mika Galvão trained at Cobrinha for a while too when he was a green belt.
Oh, really?
And he and Diogo Reis.
Yeah.
And you can tell they're already talent, smart. And then they learn a lot from Cobrinha. His dad was smart enough to keep that knowledge and develop these kids really well. And he become a super talent and special kid, you know, and he deserved. It was super cool to see both of the opposite, right? Cobrinha with 37 years old, and Mika, the young ones, I think was 20.
Something like that.
So it's pretty amazing to see what they can do. And people cannot give any excuse anymore. Because you have a 20 years old doing and a 37,
Absolutely.
you know, it's both is hard.
Yeah.
You know, if you think that one, people can say, oh, it can be an experience at 37, your life is pretty packed.
Yeah.
Also, your body sometimes not the same. Cobrinha take care of his body super well. He eat correctly, you know, he lived the life of samurai.
Yeah.
It's not like he stopped competing. He still trained really well. He still lift weight. He's still doing capoeira. He's still eating health. So he's a good example for me, for many people who with him.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's not often, you know, sometimes you have somebody who's, you know, very, very successful on the competition scene, but maybe not so much teaching, right? Or vice versa, you know, somebody like me who's never really competed, certainly not a black belt. I'm very comfortable leading the class.
Correct.
I enjoy teaching, you know, whatever it is I can show, I love to show. So, to me, to have somebody who's excellent at both is very, very impressive.
Correct.
Yourself, for example. So, you know, we have a saying in French, chapeau, you know,
Chapeau.
which means like to, you know,
Take it over.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you have something.
No, but okay, now I learned something new.
I was telling your students, Leo, I was talking with, I'm French Canadian, right? So because I knew French and I had a little bit of Spanish, you throw the dart somewhere in between, you land with Portuguese.
Oh, yes, for sure. And if you say wrong, we accept too.
Yeah, it's true. So I'm curious, you know, like 1993, you know, training in Brazil versus like 2026, you know, what would be like the biggest difference, and maybe something that you think kind of stayed the same, you know, like.
I think it's really different, in my opinion, and when it comes jiu-jitsu wise.
Yeah.
Of course, the structure kind of before was a lot warm-ups, you know, didn't have the time. I remember didn't have a spider guard yet, you know, Spider Guard come after Roleta started, you know, that team, and then Roleta, Grace Barra team there started develop. But it was huge. I remember we really learned jiu-jitsu for fights. You know, every Friday we used to take it on the Vaki and let's go to MMA. You cop the Kung Fu guy, your jiu-jitsu. He can slap, he cannot slap. Sometimes just 5 guys against 5 guys slap each other, you know. Here we cannot do it. We cannot do it here. We're going to lose every single student, you know. But for us it was fun because Brazil was different time, you know. But jiu-jitsu changed a lot, you know, like in every single aspect. Inside the mat, outside. The rules got a little bit more complex too, you know. Before it was a little bit easier. Things become more professional. That time you arrive on the stadium, 7 a.m. check your weight.
Yeah.
You don't know what time you're gonna check your weight, and after you have to wait there to see what time you're gonna fight. I remember arrived there 7 a.m., fight 4 a.m. Have one tournament in São Paulo. I competed was 11:45 p.m.
That's a long
day. It's a long day, you know. So, but that Carlinhos did a good job organizing GGF. People have no idea what he have to do. I remember in Rio de Janeiro, one day before, all the black belts leader of the team got together to do a bracket, and it was a fight there because everyone they want a better seat,
Of
and
course, yeah.
so it was really difficult, and now everything is ranked, everything's automatic. So he did a great job. I believe some fundamentals still there. Cross collar choke is the first technique I learned.
Really, yeah.
It still works.
Yeah.
And it's the same concept, right? Like 4 fingers, hand here, twist your wrist, the tail elbow, all this, you choke with your body, not only your hands. So all these details is still the same for me, Bar, same thing, of course, different angles, but when it comes mouth, it's basically the same grips, It's only about timing.
Yeah.
So the fundamentals is still there.
Nice.
Of course, people got better explain. Before in Brazil, it's funny, through my experience, in Brazil, we didn't have names for the technique.
Oh, really?
Right?
Yeah.
Like I remember the coach, grab me here, grab there, put it off balance here, and sweep the person.
Yeah.
Here, because America way think got more systematic, you guys label more things.
Right.
Americans like to label things more.
Yeah.
And now, hey, do the flower sweep, waiter sweep, have more, is more memorable. But on the other side, when you don't know the name, you need to understand better the concept. I think for me it was really helpful. Doesn't know the name. After I had to learn the names. Now I have a name for everything. Even sometimes they student go, hey, just say this technique. I say, I don't know the name. Let me see the technique. Okay, I understand what he did now. What this guy developed. But I didn't know the name. I didn't even know the technique now exists. And when it exists, they create a name for that, So that I think the fundamentals to the same. People better to explain, but America helping just to be organized when it comes to names of techniques.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, a friend of mine said once that Americans brought the front desk to the
That's a good way to put it. Yes,
Right.
Front desk and marketing too.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
You guys are good on that.
yeah, it's interesting. I think you said earlier you used to go to class and Monday was armbar and Tuesday takedown. Yeah, I remember that even in Canada where I'm from, when I started in 2011, it was the same thing, and it was really up to you to if you were interested to find your own path. So.
It was difficult because you just go there and fight to the death. So having no system. And it's funny, I learned be more systematic when I'm at Cobrinha. Even before that, I didn't have too much system. That was how I grew up. But Cobrinha showed me. I said, okay, that's way better for me. Maybe not for other people, but for me, being in the system. And then when you say system, people confuse be created. That's not true. Because first, to create a system, you have to be creative. And at sometimes, just because you create one system today, no mean you're going to stuck with that system forever.
Right.
You have to be creative and smart enough to pivot or even change totally the other direction. So I think it helped me a lot when you create that system, especially for my personal jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. So I wonder if you could share a little bit about your mindset, because you competed a lot and you've trained a lot with the highest level competition in jiu-jitsu. So maybe you could explain a little bit your mindset, so you have the camp, maybe if you're preparing for one of the big competitions, right? And how, what your mindset is at the beginning and then the day of the competition.
So, personal, always I have the competitor side of me. That's in Brazil a lot. That's the reason I think Brazilians succeed so much in jiu-jitsu, because when you play soccer, you're competitor in soccer. You want to win. So I always have that. I didn't have the concept of strong mindset, but I have the concept, don't give up. That I don't give up. When I was early in my black belt in Brazil, I remember it was a fight. I was winning. The guy broke my front toe hole. I didn't tap. Was dumb choice at the time when I look back, but it's the mindset's there, So when I started training Cobrinha, And at the time, for me, camp is good for people doesn't have too much human source.
Okay.
But for me, when I was Cobrinha, every day was a camp. You know, the entire year we train hard and smart the entire year.
Yeah.
Even if you train light, it's still long train, far away. So, but at that time, all the alliance guys, the top number one alliance guys, Lebre, Lange, Malfacini, Cobrinha, all these guys used to go Cobrinha gym. I was there as well. And then what helped me is I said, okay, I trained, this guy already won everything. I didn't want anything yet. If I train this guy, doesn't matter if they tap me 10 times. If I train them, nobody gonna be hard with this guy.
Yeah.
That's what I started. Nobody, you know, like when I started roll Cobrinha for 20 minutes, after Cobrinha, Lange asking me to roll, after Lange go lavish roll, Malfacini and go over, and then repeat that, and I said, nobody gonna be harder than that. And then I figure out through this time, we have kind of two brains, you know. I started to realize for me, I have two brains here. One's the Doer brain, and the other the thought brain. The Doer brain is my body to the drills, know the technique. Now the thought brain is the brain. Oh man, it's too hard. Hey man, it's too deep. It's the talk on your head. If you don't put a lot of work on your body brain to tell your thought brain, hey, I'm fine here, just support me, you're always gonna doubt yourself. So when I work so hard on my body to do so many drills, understand what's going on, my thought said, man, I'm ready. I'm ready. I have nothing I can say to my body now. I'm not ready. I don't, especially when I compete. Now I eat sweets on the weekends now. You know, I eat ice cream with my kids, but that time I don't eat sweets. I didn't eat fried food. You know, for me, it works. Some people, like Leandro Lois Talent, he could party in the same weekend tournament and win everybody. For me, it doesn't work that way. So I know the talent, so I had to work hard. So in my mind, I was just say, I train as hard as I can. I used to train 8 hours a day because I feel I gave myself 5 years, right? I was 28 already. All this guy was 20 years old. So I was kind of old by the time compete against Ari Faria, Esquisito, all this guy, who else? Pablo Silva, the creator Berimbolo. No, the creator. Draculino.
Samuel Braga.
Samuel Braga. You know, this guy is young than me or have been there longer than me. So I say, man, I know I'm ready. I train with the top guys here. Nothing I was in my hands, I did it wrong. You know, now is just go there and perform. And for me, I was so beat up by training. I couldn't wait to go there. I couldn't wait. The week was my favorite week. People from all over the world coming here, train with us at Cobrinha. And then when you're on stage there, you just want to have fun, but go to kill too. And then a lot of things you can control, a lot of things you cannot control. You know, sometimes the referee did a mistake in my fight. A lot of times they did a mistake, and sometimes it was my mistake. So that thing, when you cannot control, you cannot control. You know, so my mindset there is always don't let the doubts control me. You know, and I always want more. Say how I can do more. How I never find excuse because. It's funny, I tell my students all the time. The week of tournament, everybody want to do everything different. No, want to eat the food different, take the supplement they never took before. No, your body has to step in the tournament like you're in your house. You're comfortable there. You know, if you're not happy there, comfortable there, you're going to tighten up. Your reflex is going to be a little bit slow. Because you don't have the same, you know, timing, so you're not going to perform well. You know, how many times, sometime one day, I competed sick before, you know, I competed sick in one word. I went to the second day and I eat a pasta and it made me sick and I didn't perform well. I got beat up. You know, but nobody knew. I didn't give any excuse on that. But I knew when your body is not aligned to your mind, it's not going to work. You know, that's what happened. I was feel sick. My mind already told me, hey, man, you don't feel good. You know, so the week of tournament, all these thoughts come. If you can control that, manage that, and then you really put it to work, you'll be fine in tournament. And the results is just give yourself time. You know, people want things too fast. And people are different. Some people can say, oh, Mika Galvão wins. Yeah, but how long has he been training? You know, he's trained since a kid. So, and some people have luck is the way it is. They're going to win the first year. That's it. You know, some people you cannot compare. I have my own journey. I don't care. I have a lot of people did way better than me. A lot of people did it way worse than me. I really don't care. I just care what I have my goals and I achieve my goals. So the mindset is always to go to win, but always control what I have inside here. It's really how I learn how to manage what I have inside here. And then everything has to be aligned. If you don't align yourself, it's not going to happen.
Oh, very wise words, And good engineering as well. You want things to be aligned.
Correct. That helps a little bit, you know, be a little bit systematic engineer and trying reverse engineer. Actually, that helped me when it comes to strategy-wise. You know, when it comes to strategy, I'm going to fight this guy. So I had to kind of reverse engineer. And then some people kind of, they mix that because some people study so much their opponent, they don't even know themselves. No, I know what I'm capable. I just want to saw his flaws. You know, what he's not good at, I can capitalize that. You know, oh my God, the guy's really good at close guard. And he's good. And the guy close guard on you.
Of course.
You know, it's not going to work. And then always I like to fight. I never like to stolen fight. I always pay the price. You know, I lost so many fights because of that too, but I don't regret too because I like to fight. You know, for me, when I come here, I like try things. I like to have fun. It's part of me. So
I think it's a very healthy approach to jiu-jitsu. And speaking of which, so you mentioned a student that you have now who is 66 years old, training white belt. So it's proof that I have no reason to complain at 44.
We can, I am 44 too. So, Alex, I have a student 66. He has been training with us about a year.
So what advice did you give him or somebody similar who's thinking of joining?
So what's funny, that I always tell people, I want to learn from him more, probably he doesn't want to learn from me.
Interesting.
That's what I tell people, you know, he older, I question him a lot of times, you know, I call, hey, you're my hero here. Why? He's a health guy. I say, hey, what are you doing here? I'm doing something similar. How's your lifestyle? Number one, he's a happy guy. You know, I think, and my mom was really happy too. So I say, you know, happy people look like they live longer. You know, I think that really helps. And the second thing, what he told me, he shared with me was, he's about to retire from his job, and he said, I need something to do because I know people retire and at a certain age, if you don't keep your mind, your body in movement, it's really fast your body decay and you start dying, you know, mental and body.
We were talking about Alex, and you were saying like that he's kind of your hero here, so you're learning from him.
So, and then his neighbor, a friend of ours, say, hey, why don't try jiu-jitsu? I think you're doing great. And he walked to the gym, and we talk for a few minutes, and he started doing your fundamentals class. And since then, he said it was the best decision he made. You know, like he said, change his life for better. You know, and listen to that from somebody who is 60 years old with a lot of experience in life is really unique.
Absolutely. They officially have no excuse.
No, we don't. Alex, I bring Alex for you. Excuse. So he's amazing, you know. I hope when I 60 like him training and roll, and of course, depend the environment you are and We make sure everybody's safe in here. Everybody's care each other. We don't like any pitch bull gonna hurt the white belt. So we
course.
make sure we take care of them pretty well.
Yeah, amazing. I like to end with quick fire questions, like nothing crazy, but short questions, and get your take on stuff. So, what's your favorite rule set for competition in Jiu-Jitsu?
Ooh, favorite rule sets. That's a good question. I always like IBJJF, but lately I think I like the rule set. Don't allow people stalling too much.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter who it is. I like when today I watch specific fights when two fights are gonna fight. Doesn't matter what rule set. Well, matter from the fighters if they go forward or not. Because their fight is gonna bring. Doesn't matter if no time. I like see two guys go forward.
Nice, cool. What do you prefer, gi or no gi?
Gi by life. I want no gi, but even no gi bring a lot good things for our sport.
Yeah.
But gi, you can 7 years old, you can do no gi. No gi is a little bit rough. It's a really young man sport. It's a lot of physical. It's amazing. Don't get me wrong. I think one complements each other, but gi by far.
Nice. Favorite Brazilian dish to eat?
Oh, man. Besides the rice and beans you grew up, I love to make beans.
Yeah.
The pizza, Brazilian pizza.
Oh, really?
Same, yeah.
Okay, follow-up question. Do you put mayonnaise on the pizza?
No. Oh, hell no.
I do.
Don't destroy that. You destroy my pizza. No. Brazilian pizza is the best.
Okay.
Especially from São Paulo. We have the best Brazilian pizza. But I love the rice and beans for me is the best. Yeah.
Absolutely. Fantastic. Professor, I want to thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you.
And, welcoming me into your beautiful academy.
Anytime.
Great training, guys. If you're in Laguna Hills, highly recommend you visit Alliance. And I'll put the website and the address.
Thank you. If you're around here, more than welcome. Doesn't matter the team. Like I say, I have friends in any team here. If you're a good person, come check it out.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Valeu,
Thanks.
professor.
Obrigado.